children, this is our science class. Good morning children, welcome you all. Stay home, stay safe children. Today we are going to learn Unit 3, Plants. Plants are useful to us in a number of ways. Plants produce their own food, but we cannot produce our own food. We are depending plants and animals. At the same time, plants are used as food by men and animals. Plants are not only used as food but also as medicine. Almost all parts of the plants are useful to us, like root, stem, leaves, flowers, vegetables, and fruits. As a natural resource, they are beautiful and pleasing to our eyes. They release oxygen, which is essential for our survival, into the atmosphere. Some plants grow in our surroundings naturally, and some are grown by us. We need to know about plants which are useful to us in many ways. Reproduction in plants. Producing young ones. Reproduction is the process by which new individuals of the same species are produced. Reproduction is the process by which new individuals of the same species are produced. Both plants and animals reproduce. Both plants and animals reproduce. Flowers perform the function of reproduction in plants. Flowers perform the function of reproduction in plants. There are two kinds of reproduction that take place in plants. There are two kinds of reproduction that take place in plants. They are sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, new plants are produced from roots, leaves, stems, and buds. In sexual reproduction, new plants emerge from seeds. Flower. Flower is the reproduction part of the plant. It is a modified shoot. Flowers have four important parts. They are sepal, petal, Androecium, Gynoecium. Flowers have four important parts. They are sepal, petal, Androecium, Gynoecium. Sepal. It is the outer part of the flower. It is small and green in color. It protects the bud in the early stage. It is the outer part of the flower. It is small and green in color. It protects the bud in the early stage. Petal. It is often colorful and it attracts the insects. Androecium. It is the male reproductive part of the flower. It is composed of stamens. Each stamen consists of a stalk called filament and a small bag-like structure called anther at the tip. The pollen grains are produced in the anther within the pollen sacs. Next, Gynoecium. It is a female part of the flower. It is a female part of the flower. It has three parts. They are ovary, style, and stigma. The ovary contains the ovules. Flower has two types. Flower have two types. They are unisexual flowers, bisexual flowers. Flowers which contain either Androecium or Gynoecium are called unisexual flowers. Flowers which contain either Androecium or Gynoecium are called unisexual flowers. Example, papaya, cucumber. Bisexual flowers. Flowers having both Androecium and Gynoecium in same flower. Flowers having both Androecium and Gynoecium in same flower. Example, mustard, rose, hibiscus. To attract the pollinators, plants are bright in color and produce smell in their flowers. To attract the pollinators, plants are bright in color and produce smell in their flowers. Plants which are pollinated by the honeybees and butterflies have sweet scents and bigger colorful petals. Example, sunflower. Pigments present in petals give them different colors. Pigments present in petals give them different colors. Plants which are pollinated by the moth and bats release their fragrance mostly at night and have colorless petals. Example, mango, banana, guava. Okay, children, here one table is given. From the table, names of the pigment present in the petals we can know. We can identify. Color of the petals given one side, name of the pigment one side given. Red, pink, blue, purple. The name of the pigment, Androecium. Yellow, orange, carotenoids. Green, chlorophyll. Kurunji or Neela Kurunji is a shrub that is found in the Chola forest of the Western Ghats in South India. Nilagiri Hills, which literally means the blue mountains, got their name from the purplish blue flowers of Neela Kurunji that blossoms once in 12 years. Pollination. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther to stigma of a flower is called pollination. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther to stigma of a flower is called pollination. Pollination is the first important event in the development of fruit and seed. Pollination is followed by fertilization. Two types of pollination take place in the flowering plants. They are self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of the same flower is called self-pollination. Cross-pollination. The transfer of pollen grains of a flower to the stigma of another flower of a different plant of the same species is called cross-pollination. Cross-pollination. The transfer of pollen grains of a flower to the stigma of another flower of a different plant of the same species is called cross-pollination. In self-pollination, seeds produce weak plants and new varieties of plants cannot be produced. In cross-pollination, seeds produce good plants and new varieties of plants can be produced. Pollination takes place through different agents. They are pollination by wind. Pollination by wind, that is Entamophily. The flowers pollinated by wind are mostly small in size and do not have any attractive color, smell and nectar. The pollen grains are non-sticky, dry, light and powdery. Hence, they are easily carried away by the wind. Example, grass, maize, pine. Pollination by water, that is hydrophily. The flowers of water plants are not colorful and they have no nectar. Pollen grains of these plants have mucilaginous covering to protect them from getting wet. They float in water and reach other plant. Example, Vallisnerium, Hydrilla, Zoosteria. The flowers of water plants are not colorful and they have no nectar. Pollen grains of these plants have mucilaginous covering to protect them from getting wet. They float in water and reach other plant. Example, Vallisneria, Hydrilla and Zoosteria. Pollination by wind, Entamophily. The flowers pollinated by wind are mostly small in size and do not have any attractive color, smell, and nectar. The pollen grains are non-sticky, dry, light, and powdery. Hence, they are easily carried away by the wind. Example, grass, maize, pine. Pollination by insects. Third one, pollination by insects, that is Entamophily. This is the most common type of pollination in plants like sunflower, lady's finger, brinjal, and pumpkin. This is the most common type of pollination in plants like sunflower, lady's finger, brinjal, and pumpkin. Some flowers are large in size and they have sweet smell. Some of these flowers produce nectar. They attract insects like butterflies and honeybees. Fruit bats, hummingbirds, and ants may also act as pollinating agents. Pollination by birds is known as Ornithophily. Pollination by birds is known as Ornithophily. Okay, children, today we have seen plants, reproduction in plants, and in flower. In this flower, we have seen pollination, and then two types of pollination. No? Self-pollination and then cross-pollination, and then pollination agents also we have seen. That is pollination by wind, pollination by water, and pollination by insects also we have seen. Read this, children. Thank you.